This is Izzy Dakota Jones with the Art of Doing Podcast 2024, and we're going to be talking to Richard McCormick. You know, he's a great guitar player, songwriter, and plays in a lot of different acts out of Seattle and Bellevue and Everett, Washington, all around the Northwest there. He's also played up here with us, with one of my bands, well, both my bands actually, and with his little acoustic duo, which is really interesting. We're going to talk with him today, and we're going to talk to him about music. You know, how he writes a song, what's his musical influences, you know, where has he seen some of his music influences in his travels. And we're going to talk to Richard here in a few minutes. This is Izzy Dakota Jones, and we'll be right back with Richard McCormick.
Hey, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Richard?
Pretty good.
Good stuff. What's happening down there? Is it warm and sunny like it is here?
Well, it's about 85 with a nice breeze.
Right on. Good stuff. So let's do this interview.
Alrighty.
Okay. So, hey, Richard, let's talk. I want to ask you a few questions like we didn't get before. I'm just wondering about, like, for instance, like, how do you write songs? I know you write songs, and you have over the years. How does that work? How's your process with that?
Well, I personally come up with an idea of an arrangement.
Right.
You know, and I mean, I've you know, taken, and if I get stuck, I've also taken songs from something that's unfinished that I did months ago. You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I'll I splice things together if I haven't got you know, an idea. I have a lot of that. Ideas leave in my head a few times, but I just have a kind of a feeling in the head, and then I kind of roll with it. Is it going to be, you know, I mean, we call it syrupy, or you're going to have dry? It all depends what I'm like with Roland Taylor. You know, if you get enough, because a lot of stuff was created. They were just you know, picking acoustic, kind of soft, easy listening stuff at first.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got to salt and pepper that stuff with something that, you know, happy material. And, you know, so I was taking at that time, because we were in a hurry to get material, is getting pieces of stuff I used to do in the past. And now we kind of we're kind of concentrating right now on, you know, a little more upbeat, flat. I mean, there's a few still, you know, what they call pretty songs. Still more upbeat and fast, toe tapping stuff, because we were basically at the time when we started, we were just a kind of a backdoor listening band. You know, we were just you know, the music in the background.
Right, gotcha.
So yeah, I just take pieces of stuff and come up with material, you know, whatever, you know, in my head. You know, the best bet would be to record it as you do it, because, you know, you come up with a great material, and then all of a sudden you go, I don't remember what you wake up the next morning going, what was that?
Yeah, exactly.
What did I lose that for?
So have you ever written songs with, like, I know you were talking instrumental stuff, but do you ever write songs like with lyrics and stuff too? Do you do like songs?
Well, I did do songs. There was a band called Rag Shop. I actually did with your bass player.
Right.
He wrote the lyrics, and then that was a little more edgier type stuff. And at that time, I was playing a lot, so it was really easy to sit on. You know, you're used to, you know, you're sitting in your room watching, you know, a movie or something like that. But I would play every night.
Right.
And you know, and I had to come up with material, and it was pretty simple back then. This is, you know, years ago.
Yeah.
And I would come up with the material, and then Harvey would come up with the lyrics.
Right. Okay.
And then yeah, so it was a team thing. I never came up with lyrics. He came up with, but he gave it the feel of the song. And then, you know, yeah, and then we came up with, you know, quite a bit of material. Because when you're playing a lot, it just comes simpler for some reason or not. But it's
yes,
you know,
it comes easier to you.
We had a genre, and we stayed with it.
Yeah, and talking about that too, influences, like who influenced you musically?
Oh, in the beginning?
Yeah.
Well,
even now too, right up to now.
Well, they're not. I would say right now, there's not a whole lot of music that. I mean, I like the picking. My influences was Peter Townsend and on acoustic. Peter Townsend, Greg Lake, and Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, and so and I liked. I mean, the first, everybody's first song. It was, hey, I got to do that Pinball Wizard and stuff like that. And that was
cool.
a quick strummer. And so that was my inspiration on acoustic. And of course, the harder rock things back. Jimmy Page. Deep, all sorts of those, heavy rock players.
Right.
That I,
So,
and I liked, like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and all that kind of stuff. The picking and all that kind of stuff.
right on. Did you see? Did you see any of those acts? Have you ever gone seen those acts?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like who have you seen?
I saw Led Zeppelin a few times. Emerson, Lake and Palmer twice. And they were an improv band at first. I don't know if you ever knew that, but when they were playing the Isle of Wight, Keith used to come up with stuff just out of the blue, but they were competent enough musicians, to kind of follow him where he was going. And then they played him enough times where they tightened them up. But they were, Greg Lake said they were just an improv band. Just make stuff as you go.
Wow.
And that's what Keith Emerson did.
Right on. So, basically, where did you see some of these shows? Did you see them in Seattle? Where else did you see some of these shows?
Seattle, Vancouver, Los Angeles, stuff like that. And when I lived in, we were living I was in the desert, where I would say Palm Springs area. They didn't have the Coachella type thing, or basically, they didn't have a live music type genre down there. They did have one jazz club back then when I was down there, and I was interested in that. But they didn't have a big music scene.
No, I guess you had.
Back then, in those days, it was just radio music or piped in music.
Yeah. So I guess back then, you would go into L.A. to see shows. I guess, eh?
Yeah. You had to go in, because it's. I mean, since I left there, it's a growing community now. But it was a small community.
Yeah.
But Vancouver and stuff like that, you had a lot of genres there.
Yeah. And then Seattle has quite a few shows too, in all that area too.
Yeah, they had. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who have you seen? Who have you seen in Seattle?
Oh, in Seattle. What do you call? I would say, because I lived downtown when I moved here, there was a lot of clubs.
Yes.
And then what I do regret not seeing, and this is against my thing, was I had a chance to go see Mother Love Bone, and I was tired.
Wow.
I didn't know it'd be the last time.
Wow.
But there was a lot of local bands like the Cowboys, Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, stuff like that, and they played in the clubs down there.
Yeah.
And the difference between Los Angeles and there at that time was there was big competition in L.A.
Yeah.
Where here they supported the bands. They would go see each other. Like that. They supported each other.
It was more of a community.
But in L.A. it was
Yeah, L.A. was more, I guess, industry driven and.
Oh yeah, you put up a flyer and then somebody would rip it down and put their band up. It was a lot of big competition down there.
Wow, I didn't know that was happening like that. Wow.
Yeah, and they did. It was. Yeah, I mean, that was a while back, but it was. Yeah, and then it was as the pay to play thing. I think, and even San Jose when I was living in San Jose started doing that. You work your way up, but like in stuff like that where you work your way up from a Monday to a Friday night.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so that was kind of like, and you got to go out and selling your own tickets. You got to have more energy than that.
Yeah. So back in the days when you were writing and stuff, did you guys do any albums and stuff like that? I mean, back then recording was really, a lot more expensive and it was harder to do too, right? Studio time was not cheap.
Oh yeah, we did record one album, but we did that down here. This guy had an independent recording company,
right?
And and so we did the one, and so that band would probably where were they now or something like that, or where are they now, Rack. But that was only one that we had put out. you know.
And that
And
process was with tape, I guess, back then, right? In those days.
no, they had it was put out with actually it was that one was put out. I think it was using Pro Tools and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So it was digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was digital. Have
It
you
was
ever
digital,
done?
yeah.
You have ever done tape?
Yeah, I had. Well, I know I don't. I had it on tape, but I don't have any. I have nothing now since
Yeah.
that was. That was quite a few years ago.
Right.
You know.
Right. Good.
But yeah, it was fun.
Are you guys with Roland Taylor? Are you guys doing any writing any songs now? Are you going to record, or what's happening with you guys?
We're writing songs now,
Okay, good.
and my the couple is Tom Brighton. He has a studio in his downstairs in the basement or in the cellar or whatever, and so he has his own recording studio in there.
Cool.
And so we just, come down and save, and then he does what he does. But we, at that time, he recorded, and we just try to, enough to get it, that we deemed, superior quality.
Right.
But, we had a dry spell during the COVID thing, so kind of things, everything got kind of crazy, and, everything dropped off because we were in another band.
Right.
And so it was a lot of time was taken from Roland Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were in another band that, we were working, playing twice a week.
Wow.
And it was taking over time. Yeah. And then when COVID hit, it kind of just everything just came to a halt.
Yeah, everything went sideways.
And the momentum didn't pick up.
Yeah.
After that, I noticed a lot of the places we used to go and all that kind of stuff kind of dropped off, and so it was sad that it did that, but it is what it is.
What's Seattle like these days? Is there a lot of clubs still, or is it less than what it was?
Oh yeah. I don't go out and listen to them all that a lot, but there's some casinos, big casinos, big. And these are driving bands. We have, a lot of music venues here.
Yes.
And so I can just go to them because I'm closer to a small town north of Seattle called Everett. I can go up there. They have quite a few music venues.
Everett's got lots going on, doesn't it? Yeah.
And so I don't have to actually go down to Seattle. But, I mean, they got some great rooms down there. And, but, it's just going down there. And then, but for me, just going up Everett, you have, say, a lot of venues. I guess what would be really good is last time I was there is Bellingham. Because Bellingham has got quite a music scene, and being a college town, I guess you would have to.
Yes.
But yeah. So yeah, it's picking back up, kid, as I see it, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I listen to the radio station there in Bellingham, they do a lot of promoting, and there is a lot of live shows. Like a lot of live acts everywhere, right? And a lot of live.
Oh yeah.
Venues. It's sort of like really it's coming on strong. Like up here in Vancouver, there's not. It's very slow process of anything coming back. Some things are coming back, but it's moving really slow. Very slow. But compared to Bellingham and Seattle, a northwest area, which is really getting big again, right? It's growing. So there's lots of venues, lots of music, and that's important. I think there's also that venue down there. You guys got the Mount Baker Theater, right? Too. You got that down there, right?
Oh, it was the Everett Historical Theater.
Oh, okay.
That's actually a cool. Well, I didn't know that, but I don't know if you. I guess all those buildings are like old. There's a whole block there. All these buildings are, over 100 years old.
Wow!
But that theater is just incredible. We played there a couple times, and it was. You go downstairs and they have photos of the bands that were there and all that kind of stuff. But they go back to 1901.
Wow!
They have all these things, and there's signed. So it was like going to a museum, and because they have a green room quite large downstairs in that. It's cool theater, I'll tell you. but they also show movies there, I guess, and old black and whites. But they, it was all the artists that had been there, and I found it was like I was going through a museum. So that was a really impressive little thing.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's going back a long way. That's like going to like in L.A. going to the Chinese Groman Theater, right? How old that is, right?
Yeah.
And when I went in there last time, at the Chinese Groman thing there, I was just like, the history of it is so unreal. You can almost you can feel the history. You actually can feel.
Yeah.
You can feel the presence of not people being there or anything like that, but what I mean is you feel the presence of that energy, that there was a lot going on, right? And still is, but there in the past there's been quite a bit of history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, and I think you guys down there, especially like in the States, I think you guys tend to, compared to up here, I mean, you tend to really maintain the heritage stuff, right? You guys really strong on that, right? I've noticed that. Like there's a lot of venues that are around, and they're very cool, and they're older, right? The buildings are older and maintained too. They keep it up, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. I mean, I think my best is like music scenes. I mean, this was not going to date myself, but there was a time in Vancouver, that had the best, to me, had the best music scene ever. I mean, there's some really good bands that came out of Vancouver, and it was, and I was in downtown Vancouver, in the West End and all that kind of stuff back then. But everybody was walking distance.
Yeah,
you got great music.
Yeah, I could see that, and I mean, I mean, when we talk about Seattle too, lots of it is really close too. I've noticed that there was always a lot of clubs, but they're all cluttered pretty close together, right? They're not too far apart from anything, because Seattle is, is it's like Vancouver. It's not a huge city, but it's got a lot of entertainment, a lot of things going on. I mean, you guys got like the thing I liked about Seattle is I liked that when I played down there, we also played the U District too, right? And and the U District's very cool. They've got a lot of really cool places right down there too, right? And I remember once going to playing the bar there called the High Dive, and next door was this little bar and called the White Rabbit. And it was like about probably the size of a garage, and it had a little stage, and it had university students, put this funk band together, and there must have been about 15 guys on this one stage, and it was really small. They're all, but boy, could they just pour out the funk! Like the place was packed. I mean, the place was. It was a small little venue, but it was just jammed to the hilt. We went over there and just went, this is really cool. We went and watched it before we played and stuff, and it was really cool. It was a great little venue, and just a bunch of university kids, that were going to university with degrees in music and formed a band, right? And it was really cool.
Oh yeah,
it's something to see, right? Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess also down there too, they have do they still have it down there? You still have the Jimi Hendrix museum down there?
Yeah, the EMP. Yeah, that's still down there. I actually went down there to look at that. It was quite. They have one section, of all the Northwest artists, stuff like
cool.
that. And I think it was Paul, but his name, the other. Or Microsoft or something like that. Anyway, he put it together, I guess. But he did a really good job on that, because in a section of the Northwest, he had little things we like to see, like Beatles suits and Jimi Hendrix, what he wore, and he covered everything, And for me, it was like, it was just walk through the past, But these things were right in front of you, And Chuck Berry's one of his 355s or 335s. I mean, you want to break the glass, grab it, and go, that kind of thing. And, it was interesting. It was actually, and they also have a stage there, because I guess some bands play there. But I thought it was really well done. This guy has more guitars, than anything, but but he had the history behind everything.
Wow.
The Northwest had a pretty good, back in the day and stuff like that, had a bunch of bands, like Nevada, Green River, I can't remember the name now, but TKO,
Yeah.
etc.
It had,
Mudhoney,
oh
this
yeah,
kind
there are
of
like
stuff.
there's tons of bands. I mean, the history is just unreal. I mean, it goes all, even people like, what's his name's from there, I'm trying to think of the jazz guy, what am I thinking of here? And he also was a producer, Quincy Jones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's just like huge. The music, all the people that come out of Paul Revere and the Raiders come out of the Great Northwest, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
there's just the Seekers. No, who would think a bunch of guys that play surf music would be, you would think California, but they're from Washington State.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And it was just, it's just that kind of thing, because I don't know if you remember, they used to have what they call teen fairs down here.
okay.
Yeah, and then it was just a day of rock and roll music, memorabilia, and all this kind of stuff. But you'd have like bands, and that was, they have certain, a lot of bands that would play, and I know my brother and I used to, hit those all the time, but they ended after a while. But they were actually, that's when it was, I guess that was, in the late '60s or mid '60s and late '60s and '70s, stuff like that. Music was, like number one. And they really pushed it. It was actually a good thing until they stopped it. I don't know why they stopped it, but
Yeah.
unless all the rockers died, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I remember watching too that one of these Seattle TV stations on late night used to have a lot of bands too. They all local stuff too, and
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah,
remember that? And that was really good. I mean,
Yeah.
they had some really talented young bands come on. And young musicians, right, doing all kinds of stuff. They do not just like rock and roll. There was jazz. There was blues, there was everything, right, and folk. Every kind of thing under the sun. I really liked it. It was a good show.
Yeah, I did watch that. Yeah, was it South Scene or something like that or whatever. And I used to watch that because I was. I think it was last time I was wondering where, I thought, the music scene is gone, this is, like 2021, 22, something like that. Then I knew the music scene was still alive in Seattle.
Yeah.
By this, because it was like you didn't hear much of it anymore. I mean, I know it's sparse, but now it's picking up. It is picking up because
I mean, are you
there's a lot more entertainment now.
Yeah, how more often are you guys gigging now? You gigging? Is your gigs picking up again? I remember last time we talked, you said you're busy.
Oh yeah, they're picking up now. Yeah. It's actually, it's like I wouldn't say it was like it when it started, because we were, bang, 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 bang all the time. We get most of our gigs now, or we take most of our gigs. So we have a manager that, how often do you want to work, for the casinos and all that kind of stuff. And so, I just go with it, because we have a lot of people that go, I'm off to Hawaii, because they're older guys. One guy has a place in, down in Arizona. And, one guy has a place here, and so they go off and do their little fishing trips or their vacations. So, but most of our stuff we do in the summertime and our gigs, and I bet you the thing is, the best gigs are something like, I like the outdoor ones. So,
Yeah, they're the best.
But you get, it's a real fun atmosphere, but, I guess I would say we're seasonal workers or something,
That's cool.
Because it was before, like I say, before COVID, it was, once or twice a week, until it hit. And then after COVID, it was really slow picking up.
Right.
So it was, so kind of like the whole momentum, slow down, but it's starting to pick up now. So I don't know where it's going to go. If it's going to just level out as it is right now, or if it's going to go higher. But like we do a lot of the outdoor things, and like the Evergreen Fair, and these they have a lot of these. Each like little city has these summer nights type.
Yeah, they have the summer series shows. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's quite a lot of small towns have that. That's really cool. Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah,
it's really good for entertainment. It keeps the musicians happy. So yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, they should do more of that up here. They don't. They should be doing more of that up here. They don't do series. There's a few places. Langley, I think, has a summer series, and I think maybe one other place out in the valley does. Maybe Chilliwack, and that's it. There's no other, There's no summer series. And there should be. There should be more of that.
Because we basically, it's like it's following the I-5 corridor, because we go, anywhere. Up all the way down to, there is a line. What you're going to do is, like, when you're offered gigs like more than 300 miles away, they don't do that.
Yeah.
But if you're, down in Tacoma and other cities around Tacoma, Washington, stuff like that, we have a lot of gigs down there. It's one of those, prepare for the driving time on I-5 going south, that kind of thing. It's like, okay, bring lots of water in a pan, because you're going to be in traffic. If you especially because most of them are on Friday and Saturday nights, right?
Yes.
And so, but we do a lot of shows down there, and it's nice to have, when they're up here and stuff like that, like the casinos, Tulalip and all those kind of muggles and all that kind of stuff. They're up here. You're close to home.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, that's good.
So usually back when you were, when you just start out, I'll drive to San Francisco. That'd be half-hour gig. Yeah, so you're willing to do that.
Yeah, that's like I talked to. An interview I did about a week or two ago. I interviewed Joe Keatley from DOA, from the punk stuff.
Yeah.
And Joey was telling me, I says, the first time I saw you, Joe, one of my first times I saw you playing, I went to a show at the P&E and saw the Clash, and you were opening up for the Clash. And he said, yeah. He says, that's a funny story. He says, I was in Alberta. We were playing gigs in Alberta, and our booking agent and manager called us and said, hey, we got a gig for you opening up for the Clash in Vancouver. You got to be back tomorrow night. And Joe said, okay, we'll cancel the rest of you cancel the rest of our shows. We're coming back. He says, how much are we getting paid? He says, $100. So they drove all the way back. They did the gig. Because it was opening up for a big act, right? And playing in front of lots of people.
Yeah, I can understand that. That would be, I don't know if you ever heard the story with Ed Sullivan and the Beatles. I don't know if you remember this, but Ed Sullivan didn't pay his performance.
Oh, yeah.
And when the Beatles came, they said, "No, we want to get paid." Because they knew they had two hits here.
Yeah.
And after the Beatles started, they started paying them. Anyway, it was just basically exposure for all these guys, and that was that was worth whatever it was to you. So if it was anything you had to come and say. For me, it would have been, you want to open for Queen? I'd go, how much does it pay? A nickel. I'm there. I know. I would do that.
Yeah.
I can understand that, because that's
it's an opportunity.
These guys are bringing all the people in for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. And nowadays, you don't, that kind of stuff you pay. If you're the opening act, you got to pay the big act to play on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's you have to pay them. Somebody asked me that. Says, "Oh, you open up for so and so, you must make a lot of money." I says, "No, I don't make a red cent. You end up paying them." They go, "Why did you do that?" Because they're bringing all the people. You get the exposure. You get the exposure with their fans. It's going to cost you.
Yeah.
This is not. It's not free.
Oh yeah.
It's not free. So you're up to you guys are just songwriting right now, and you're doing some and you're gigging for this year?
Yeah. Well, we like I say, we got a show at Princeton in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're with us.
With Will and Taylor.
Yeah.
And we got three new. I think it's three new. We put. I came up with three new numbers because we're kind of getting this. I don't know. You just got to get it's like when you're doing the same old material. So we're trying to kind of like get a little bit new material.
Yes.
To just sort of rotate. So yeah. So there's I think 2 or 3 new songs for us up there, and it's going to be a great night. Been there before. Great people, love it, and I think we open for the Twix.
You do.
and that's a treat. And that's a treat. These guys are great.
Yeah.
And then and the food's good. You can't beat the food in the crowd.
No, the food's good. And the food in the crowd.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, boy, I think good. In fact, the guy, the guy that accompanies me, he's the Roland part. He's never. We played there before, and then he would, he'd always, because he lives in the States, and he'd get up and go home. Last time I was there, the music was, they had us. I've never seen this guy stay until closing on anything, and he stayed. So yeah, that says a lot about that place.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, having a little bit more material, so
it'll be good.
I don't, it will be.
Well, I'll let you go, Richard. And you know what? It's been fun talking to you. And I will actually probably have lunch with you on Wednesday.
All right, sounds good.
Harvey was saying you're coming up, so when you come up, we'll go for lunch.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. We'll talk more then.
All right.
Okay, you have a
good night, Joe.
You too. I'll talk to you later, Richard. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Richard. Yeah, great guitar player. His rhythm stuff is unreal. Roland Taylor is a really good little project. You gotta catch it. It's an acoustic act, but they improvise on the spot on tunes. It's really entertaining. It's all instrumental, but it's really cool. And they're doing a show with the Twitch. They open up for us a couple times. They're from like Seattle, Bellevue, Everett area. So it's great when they come up and play here in Canada, up in Vancouver. So yeah, you got to catch Richard coming up pretty soon. I think that is December 15th, if I'm correct, somewhere around there. Don't quote me, but this show will be done by then. But you got to check that out. Maybe they got some stuff online. I'm going to find out eventually if they're putting stuff up online. You got to check these guys out. If not, maybe you go and see them in the Everett or Dakota or Seattle area and watch them play somewhere. This is Izzy Dakota Jones with the Art of Doing podcast for 2024. Signing off. Nice talking to Richard and finding out what's going on down in Seattle and Washington State again. Take care. Peace out.